Hello and welcome. This is Nightline. I'm Raymond Goh. The top stories. Malaysia to ship back over 400 tons of imported plastic waste. An Energy Commission ordered to probe TNB after complaints over electricity bills. Good morning. The government is committed to take another step forward in its efforts to develop the local digital economy. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the segment is crucial in helping local businesses to penetrate in international markets and, in turn, become global brands. Speaking at the opening of the new Facebook Malaysia office in Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday, Tun Dr. Mahathir acknowledged that internet and social media platforms play a vital role in promoting openness and inclusivity.
Both large and smaller companies need to embrace digital connectivity, use of data analytics and digital skills to explore opportunities to build digital businesses.
However, the Prime Minister also warned that the freedom of speech in the social media is increasingly being abused. Tun Dr. Mahathir also urged Facebook and other social media platform providers to continue collaborating with the Malaysian government and law enforcement agencies in order to ensure that the social media realm remains as a platform that generates positive changes rather than the negative ones. He said while Malaysia has been advocating a free and open internet, this has to be within the ambit of the laws and cannot be unfettered. According to data, there were 18 million active Malaysian users of Facebook per month in 2016. The group makes up about 58% of Malaysia's total population. Data also showed that 94% of the internet users were browsing for products via Facebook. Lawyer Shazlin Mansoor should not have withdrawn herself from the inquest into the death of firefighter Muhammad Adib Muhammad Qasim, even though she was instructed to do so. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the lawyer should have continued acting for the family of the deceased if she really wanted to find justice in the case.
Pasal kerjaan kalau nak tentukan siapa yang sebab Adib ini meninggal, tapi dia dah wakil Adib, lepas tu dia jadi wakil kerjaan kerana dipilih, kerana pihak yang memilih itu tak sedar dia ni sudah jadi wakil lawyer untuk Adib punya family. Jadi bila kita dah ketahui dia mesti tarik diri daripada kerajaan saja. Dia patut teruskan menjadi peguam bagi Adib. Tapi dia tarik diri ke semua dan dia beranggap bahawa dia nak cari kebenaran. Kebenaran dia boleh dapat kebenaran dalam mahkamah kita.
Tun Dr. Mahathir, who is also Bersatu chairman, said this after chairing Bersatu's Supreme Leadership Council meeting in Petaling Jaya, Selangor on Tuesday. In a statement earlier on Tuesday, Housing and Local Government Ministry, which oversees the Fire and Rescue Department, said it had instructed Shazlin to withdraw from the inquest into Adib's death in accordance with the Attorney General's advice. Shazlin announced her withdrawal from the inquest on the 37th day of the proceeding before Judge Rofia Muhammad at the Coroner's Court on Monday, thus raising speculation about conspiracies and attempts to influence the outcome of the inquest. At the same media conference, Tun Dr. Mahathir also indicated his disappointment over the setting up of many race-based political parties recently, especially Malay-based ones, and said this will only divide the Malays even more. The Prime Minister said that the many new Malay-based parties in the country will leave the Malays without any one big party to represent them.
Ya, kita bebas menubuh beberapa banyak parti pun, dan kalau kita tubuh 100 parti itu cukup baik. Dengan itu orang Melayu akan dibahagikan kepada 100 dan tak ada satu parti Melayu yang besar.
Tun Dr. Mahathir was responding cynically to a question on the setting up of the latest political party, the Malay-based Parti Bumiputra Perkasa Malaysia Putra, led by Dato' Ibrahim Ali as the president. Referring to the Bersatu Council meeting, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the party is no longer referred to as PPBM, short for Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, but Bersatu, following an ROS approval on the use of the name. He also said that the party leadership agreed to make several amendments to the party constitution for smoother administration. The council decided to hold an extraordinary general meeting on July 20th to amend the constitution. He also said that the EGM will be attended by those who attended the last general meeting. Malaysia will be shipping out 450 metric tons of contaminated plastic waste imported illegally from countries like the UK, the US and China. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister Yeo Bee Yin said the plastic waste contained in 10 containers will be shipped back to their country of origin by Tuesday. Speaking at Westport's tower in Klang after a visit to Port Klang to inspect the containers, Yeo said the 10 containers are from Australia, the US, Saudi Arabia, Japan, China, Canada and Bangladesh.
Through our investigation, we uncovered a recycling factory, a recycling company in the UK has been a constant exporter of plastic waste to Malaysia for the past 2 years. They have cumulatively exported more than 1,000 containers, just one company alone, yeah, which amount to more than 50,000 metric tons of plastic waste from the UK.
She said her ministry is working together with the Department of Environment in inspecting 123 containers from the UK, the US, Japan, China, Spain, Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Bangladesh, Norway and France. She also labelled the Malaysians responsible for bringing the plastic waste to Malaysia as traitors to the country. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Ministry has instructed the Energy Commission, EC, to investigate the high electricity bill imposed by Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB. Its Minister, Yeo Bee Yin, said over 300 complaints on the issue were filed nationwide and the EC would take 14 days to investigate whether the complaints were an error by TNB.
Ini adalah garis panduan performance standard of electricity supply services of TNB. Antaranya yang dikeluarkan ya adalah di mana time interval between successive rendering bills adalah 1 bulan. Tapi ada orang sekarang dapat bill 38 prorate. Ya, ia bermaksud bahawa kalau kesalahan ini telah ditunjukkan adalah benar, maka mereka telah melanggar performance standard ya, performance standard of which it is 3C. So kesalahan ini boleh dibawa ke mahkamah.
Yeo said legal action could be taken against TNB if the utility company was found not meeting the allocation under Section 9C of the Electricity Supply Act 1990, where it had to fulfill the standard of supply performance and consumer service. TNB had earlier met with the EC and presented 3 reasons on the issue concerning the considerable increase in the electricity bill. The EC, however, was not satisfied with the reasons given and thus further investigation would be carried out. Meanwhile, Tenaga Nasional Berhad's first quarter net profit plunged 26.5% to 1.55 billion ringgit from 2.12 billion ringgit previously on higher forex translation losses and higher financing costs. Its revenue, however, rose by 7.9% from 12.27 billion to 13.24 billion ringgit on the back of higher sales of electricity by 7.8% to 13 billion ringgit. In a statement to Bursa Malaysia, the power giant said its operating profit surged to 2.5 billion ringgit from 697 million ringgit in the previous quarter. Additionally, profits attributable to owners of the company also increased from a loss of 134.3 million ringgit recorded in the preceding quarter to a profit of 1.56 billion ringgit in the current quarter. Earnings per share were 27.38 sen compared with 37.41 sen a year ago. The late historian and academician Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Khoo Kay Kim, 82, will be buried at the Nirvana Memorial Park in Shah Alam this Saturday. His eldest son, Edin Khoo, 50, said his father's remains were not taken to his residence in Petaling Jaya but to the Nirvana Memorial Centre in Sungai Besi to allow family members and friends to pay their last respects before the funeral. Edin said the funeral ceremony would begin at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Tan Sri Dr. Khoo passed away due to a lung infection at University Malaya Medical Centre, UMMC, at 10:13 a.m. on Tuesday. Tan Sri Dr. Khoo left behind his wife, Puan Sri Rati Khoo, aged 75, as well as two other sons, Rubin and Mevin. His second son, Rubin Khoo, aged 47, said his father had a bypass operation in October last year and his health deteriorated after returning from the treatment. Meanwhile, the King has expressed his condolences to the family and loved ones of the late Tan Sri Dr. Khoo Kay Kim. In a statement from Istana Negara, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, also recognized the tremendous contribution by the renowned historian to the nation. The King said Tan Sri Dr. Khoo's passing was a great loss to Malaysia. Tan Sri Dr. Khoo, widely regarded as Malaysia's national historian, was born in 1937 to Peranakan Chinese parents in Kampar, Perak. He started out wanting to be a football player, but eventually chose to go to university. In modern Malaysia, he will be remembered as one of the instrumental figures in the drafting of the Rukun Negara to foster national cohesion following the aftermath of the 1969 race riots. For his outstanding service, Tan Sri Dr. Khoo was also honoured with the Emeritus Professor title by University Malaya in 2001. Missing Grab driver robbed and murdered. Details up next. Welcome back. An application letter by SRC International Sdn Bhd for a 3.95 billion ringgit loan did not follow Retirement Fund Incorporated or KWAP's procedural requirements and included a handwritten note from Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak saying he agreed with the suggestion. Former KWAP CEO Dato' Azian Muhammad Noor testified that the letter dated June 3, 2011 was signed by SRC International Director Nik Faisal Arif Kamil, addressed to the then Prime Minister. Dato' Azian says she received the letter by hand from Dato' Sri Najib's special officer, the late Dato' Sri Azlin Alias, whom she had known for 2 years at a hotel lobby in KL Central after office hours. She further said that the letter had a side note handwritten by Datuk Sri Najib, which was meant for her as KWAP CEO, that read, quote, "Bersetuju dengan cadangan ini," unquote, or agree with this suggestion. When asked by Deputy Public Prosecutor Dato' Ishak Muhammad Yusof on whether the application follows KWAP's loan policy, Dato' Azian said the letter did not meet the requirement for the procedure. The witness said it was impossible for her to scrutinize the content of the letter in detail as the meeting was held at night. She said she took the letter to the KWAP chairperson the next day. The hearing continues before Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali on Wednesday. The Grab driver reported missing last Friday is believed to have been robbed and murdered before his body thrown in some bushes in Tuaran. Sabah Police Commissioner Dr. Omar Mamah said 2 suspects were later arrested after police obtained records from the e-hailing company. During a press conference on Tuesday, Dr. Omar said the 2 unemployed suspects, a local and a foreigner, aged 20 and 24, were picked up at about 9 Monday night.
Kita telah tangkap dan hasil pendedahan kedua-dua ni mereka mengaku. Mereka yang terlibat membunuh pemandu Grab ni, dan mereka mendedahkan mereka telah buang mayat pemandu Grab ni di satu kawasan di daerah Tuaran.
The two suspects have been remanded to assist in investigations into Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. On Monday, villagers in Kampung Shahbanda in Tuaran found a body before reporting the gruesome find to police. According to Dato' Omar, the family of the missing Grab driver, Muhammad Hanafi Jaafar, 27, was unable to identify the body due to decomposition. However, police have obtained the victim's fingerprints and will conduct further investigations to identify the victim. 8 Road Transport Department officers and 1 former official with the Land and Public Transport Commission, or SPAD, claimed trial to 164 bribery charges at a special sessions court for corruption on Tuesday. The 9 accused were accused of allegedly receiving bribes amounting to 136,000 ringgit over the past 3 years. The 9 civil servants, all based in Pulau Pinang, were each slapped with between 11 and 33 charges for receiving bribes of between 24,100 and 4,210 ringgit. They allegedly accepted the bribes from January 2015 to August 20th, 2018 from a director of Samlian Transport and Tyre Sdn Bhd and TSR Transport Sdn Bhd. The bribes were allegedly deposited into the bank accounts of the respective accused and that of a third party. They were all charged under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act with receiving bribes as inducement to not take action against lorry companies that committed traffic offences. Judge Nizam Zakaria set bail ranging from 11,000 to 20,000 ringgit each and set July 2nd for case management. According to MACC, the 9 officers were only the first batch to be charged over the protection racket scandal. 68 Pulau Pinang RTD and SPAD officers had been hauled up since April to assist investigations into a protection racket involving transport companies and lorry drivers. The federal court has allowed Samira Muzaffar, the widow of Cradle CEO Nazrin Hassan, bail of 500,000 ringgit pending her murder trial in September. The judgment is considered as a landmark decision on bail from the highest court in the Commonwealth jurisdiction. The panel, led by Federal Court Judge Tan Sri Azhar Muhammad, said the High Court had erred in dismissing Samira's bail application. He added the possibility of Samira tampering with potential witnesses in the trial was a vague assertion. The other judges on the bench were Tan Sri Ramli Ali, Dato' Alizatul Khair Osman Khairuddin, Dato' Muhammad Zawawi Saleh, and Dato' Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim. The court ordered Samira to surrender her passport pending the disposal of a case and told her to report to a police station once every 2 weeks. She is also required to remain indoors between 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. every day and cannot leave Kuala Lumpur or Petaling Jaya without the court's permission. Samira and 2 teenagers are accused of murdering Nazrin on June 14, 2018 at their home in Mutiara, Damansara. Her application for bail was initially rejected by the Shah Alam High Court, which said on April 11th that she had failed to show why she should be allowed bail for a murder charge, which carries the death penalty. In Kuala Lumpur, the police are in the process of reviewing reports received since 2015 involving the former chief executive officer of a telecommunications company, including complaints of him allegedly molesting his daughters. Inspector General of Police, Dato' Sri Abdul Hamid Bado, said 17 reports were lodged by the ex-wife of the former CEO over the last 4 years. He said the case was being reviewed after it had earlier been classified as NFA or no further action, after police discussions with the Attorney General's chambers found that there was insufficient evidence. Also in Kuala Lumpur, a former taxi driver was sentenced to 10 years in jail by the High Court after he was found guilty on 3 counts of supporting the Daesh militant group. In passing the sentence, Judge Dato' Muhammad Sofyan Abdul Razak ruled that the prosecution had proven its case beyond reasonable doubt on all 3 charges. The court sentenced Noor Mizan Panijan to 10 years for the first charge, 6 years for the second, and 3 years for the third charge. In Selangor, police have arrested 3 individuals, including a woman believed to have been involved in at least 11 house break-ins, robberies, and snatch theft cases around Dengkil. According to Sepang District Police Chief ACP Abdul Aziz Ali, the trio were arrested on May 17th and 18th. The authorities also seized valuables including luxury watches, handbags, mobile phones and jewelry from the trio. The 3 suspects, aged between 24 and 37, are being remanded to assist investigation. The Kedah Customs Department foiled an attempt to smuggle contraband liquor worth more than 244,000 ringgit to the mainland from Langkawi. State Customs Director Dato' Johari Alifia said the liquor was seized from a lorry which was left unattended at the cargo jetty in Kuala Kedah last Friday. It is understood that the liquor bottles from 29 brands were packed into boxes of food items in order to avoid detection. The lorry, worth about 50,000 ringgit, was also seized for further investigation. Up next on Nightline, 2 killed in Japan's stabbing spree. On to the foreign front now. Sydney on Tuesday announced its first major water restrictions in a decade, putting limits on homes and businesses amid a record-breaking drought. The New South Wales government said the Greater Sydney region water catchments were experiencing some of the lowest flows since the 1940s, and that the restrictions would be enforced from next week. People in Sydney can be fined up to $150 and businesses up to $380 for leaving a hose running or using a sprinkler system to water their gardens. Australia sweated through its hottest ever summer from last December to February. Sydney last year had water restrictions in place in 2009 when all major cities imposed usage caps amid a severe drought which had lasted for more than a decade in some parts of the country. In Japan, a knife-wielding man slashed at a group of schoolgirls at a bus stop on Tuesday, killing 1 girl and an adult before turning the knife on himself. 16 other girls between the ages of 6 and 12 years old and a woman were also wounded in the attack. According to police, the incident occurred at around 7:40 a.m. local time on a street near a park in a residential area south of Tokyo. The girls, students from Caritas Elementary School in Kawasaki City, were waiting to board their school bus when the suspect attacked. Police identified the victims as Hanako Kuribayashi, 11 years old, and Satoshi Oyama, 39, believed to be a father of another pupil. The suspect, a man in his 50s, was found unconscious at the scene and later died in hospital as a result of self-inflicted stab wounds to the neck. The motive for the attack was unclear, but there were no immediate fears of a wider security threat. The 2019 French Open, Zverev survives first round scare. Stay tuned for sports after this. It's sports and now tennis. The 2019 French Open, German top seed Alexander Zverev was made to work hard to reach the second round after a thrilling 5-set victory over Australian John Millman on Tuesday. Looking for a major breakthrough on the Grand Slam stage, the German needed more than 4 hours to see off the world number 56. The 5th seed made a bright start as he edged his opponent 7-6 in the opening set before sailing through the second set with a 6-3 win. Millman then came back strong in the third set, overwhelming Zverev 6-2 before winning the 4th set 7-6 to take the match into a decider. Zverev, however, held his nerve in the final set as he closed out a 6-3 victory over the Australian. He will next face Swedish qualifier Mikael Ymer in the second round. In the United States, armed forces personnel and veterans took part in the National Memorial Day Parade in Washington as they pay tribute to those who have fallen while serving in the military. Visuals of this parade wraps up Nightline this time around. I'm Raymond Goh. Thank Thank you for your company and selamat bersahur.